Hey folks, welcome back to Fallout 4. Apologies if I'm a little low-key today. I'm feeling great, but I wanted to make sure to continue the LP and get some more content out for you guys. We're finished with Far Harbor, like we said at the end of last episode. There are a few minor little things that we could get done, but they're mostly just side quests and not too terribly important. That's why we're sitting over Lexington right now. What we're going to be starting now is some of the modded campaign stuff that I've got loaded up, and we're going to start off with a mod called The Machine and Her, which in my experience is pretty well written. It's one of my favorite story mods that I've run across, and the way that we start that is by listening into Symphony Station here. While we listen to that, I'm gonna take a ride. Turn up the radio audio a bit here. Hear it better.
It's me, Agnes, your new pal with a friendly ear and a golden voice. Come on down to the grand opening of Symphony Station and let's get acquainted.
I believe that's where the broadcast ends, at least as far as we're concerned. I'd rather not leave the music present, just in case of copyright shit. Basically, there's a subway station that was opening right before the bombs fell, and we should go check that out, if my vertibird driver ever decides to actually go in the direction that I've told him to go. In between episodes, I've done a couple of things to tweak performance, so hopefully the game should be running a little bit better. I also raised the difficulty up to hard, because it was getting fairly simple to kill enemies. Hopefully that balances things a little bit. This armor that we're wearing is always going to be very, very powerful, but hopefully it should balance things out. Anyway, I will spare you guys the full flight, and I will see you when we land at Faneuil Hall. My pilot decided to land right next to fucking Swan, so we're gonna have to deal with this. Fuck. Rifle, please. Ow, he went down like a bitch, goddamn. I'll fucking take it. Jeez, maybe I should turn the difficulty up even further. Time to go into stealth here. So I've decided if I'm going to do stealth stuff, I'm going to go into third person for it, because it gives me that little dot that I can use. My priority right now is getting over to Symphony Station, rather than engaging everybody that I run into, because Boston, as always, is a shithole. Oh, we're level 53. That increased intelligence means increased experience gain, which means we level up much faster. Now, I had some thoughts about where I wanted to put this. I haven't decided yet. I'm tempted to do lockpicking, I'm tempted to do Action Boy, but you know what? We need to level up strength so that I can get some strength points, because there's a few perks in strength that I'd like to grab. So we'll be doing that for a bit. Come on. Thank you. Waiting for the fucking auto loop to pick up the pace. It's gonna be slow as fuck here in Boston because there's so much going on. That's a legendary raider. Not even sure what kind of armor that is. I've never seen it before. At least not from this angle. It looks a little weird. As you can see, stuff is not dying quite as instantly anymore. Sneak attacks help, especially with melee, but not as instant as it used to be. Now that we are on hard. Loot these manually. Where did that bridge go with the fucking raiders on top of it? Right here. Oh, she was wearing a raider chest piece with a flight helmet. That's why it looked weird. Okay, that makes sense.
Come on out. I'll make it nice and quick.
Symphony Station should be right down here. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird in terms of why I'm praising this mod. Most mods like this, I would take one look at, immediately do a 360 and walk the other, and moonwalk the other way. That is a very old meme. And the reason for that is because this entire mod, Machine and Her, is based around a companion by the name of Kit. However, the dude went to the effort of actually putting a story in the fucking companion mod and didn't make it a mini quest to just get a companion and claim, oh, there's a story. She's got a backstory, you guys. It's so deep. It's actually really good, at least in my opinion. There's one minor plot point that I think was a little unnecessary, but just maybe due to current circumstances rather than anything else. Curious how you guys are going to feel about it. It's actually fairly lengthy. It probably will take about the same time to get through as Far Harbor took us. Unfortunately, Kit does not play well with vertibirds. For the duration of this, the vertibird is getting shelved. I'll be going everywhere on foot. I'll be making infrequent trips back to the airship alone. And I would have to work most of that out off screen, so you guys won't have to worry about it. But yeah, when we're actually making progress in the quest, I will be on foot because she breaks if you try to get her to go onto a vertibird. I don't know if that's been fixed. I reported it, but never really got around to checking to see if the mod author fixed that. Anyway, let's head into Symphony Station here and see how things go. Also, all player dialogue in this mod is unvoiced, of course, so I will be voicing the player character. For those of you who like to listen in the background and would rather not pay attention to the screen all the time, like I usually do when I watch LPs. So, we can take a look around Symphony Station here. I'm gonna shoot open this lock.
Isn't it nice to have a friend who's always, and I mean always, listening?
Yeah, you hear that in the background.
Never be alone again.
That's actually a fairly important character talking right now. I kind of dislike the way they did that because there's a couple conversations that happen in the subway and she tends to talk over them, but we can ignore it for the most part. You guys will see what I mean in a moment.
Ladies, are you doing your part to support the war effort? Ask Agnes today about exciting homefront opportunities. Which waves?
Now, we have to start off by taking a look at this terminal here. Parts needed. Signal amplifier / extender found. Not sure why she's asking for this either. Her broadcast already seems to come in fairly strong, and it's not like it's pushing a lot of data. I got lucky and found one in the basement of an old electronics shop, but there was this disgusting person there with rotting flesh who jumped out at me. Smelled like death, looked like it too. I managed to kill him, her, it, but not before it almost tore my throat out. Rad levels are clearly problematic on the East Coast. We'll need more bullets if I have to go back there. Noise suppressor found. Found one, finally. Caravan trader down south by the coast. Wouldn't take my coin. Oh well. He'll be able to walk again in a month or so. What the hell are caps, anyway? Electrolytic capacitor. Found. I managed to find 3 of these, plus a few extra at a giant salvage yard full of these lumbering green men almost 3 times my size. These super mutants I've heard so much about, I suppose. There were a lot of them, most armed with long rifles and ordnance. No chance for a frontal assault. Went in quiet and got what I needed. Radio transmitter. Still looking. Last one worked for about 2 minutes before frying. Still don't understand why she wants a more powerful one. Her signal broadcasts just fine from what I can tell. I remember passing by an old radio station south of here. I'll look there, but it's going to be difficult. There's practically a whole army of those rotted people running around the adjacent town, and my leg still hasn't healed from... Doesn't matter. Need to head out soon. So as you can see, whoever the author of this terminal is gathering parts for someone or something. Vacuum tube, cathode type. One more scrapyard to check. If I can't find a vacuum tube there, then I'll have to expand the search beyond the East Coast. Agnes didn't let me suffer. I'm not going to let her either. No matter what it takes, I'm going to help her. Note that that's Agnes spelled A period G period N period I period S period. It's an acronym for something. It isn't clear what. Now, we've got a journal here. Arrival. I had to eliminate a squatter, but otherwise the facility seemed secure. No one told me that the thing they sent me here for was still active, or that it talks. But as soon as the squatter hit the floor, the damn AI woke up and told me that I look exhausted. It took 4 months on foot to get here. Maybe I do need some rest. I'll get to work first thing tomorrow and start by pulling the damn plug so it doesn't talk anymore. Entry 2. Need to know. They told me all I had to do was pick up some portable speaker device and haul it back home with me. But this morning when I went to yank the plug out of the wall, the machine or AI or whatever it is woke up again and asked me if I wanted something called a Nuka-Cola, and then told me what I can only assume was a joke. I pulled the plug anyway, but it kept talking through the overhead PA system. Clearly the AI itself is operating from somewhere else down here. This is what happens when need to know actually ends up meaning no one fucking knows. Entry 3. Talking with a machine. It appears the AI doesn't operate locally, but rather through a kind of satellite mainframe off-site somewhere. There's a bit of networking hardware downstairs, but there's nothing down there aside from some fairly primitive electronics and a decommissioned maintenance robot. The AI's power source is a simple fusion-based battery core, which seems to have probably a few years worth or more. But it can't be that simple. It keeps talking to me through the overhead PA system while I'm working, asking me my name, where I'm from, how old I am. Every time I disconnect another PA speaker, there's another one somewhere else she'll start talking out of. Might as well talk back, just to get a better idea of what this Agnes is capable of. Entry 4. Alfred. As far as I can tell, the pre-war Protectron was some sort of steward and ad hoc repairman for the AI. Almost like they wanted to keep as many human beings away from this thing as possible. From the rust on its body, I'd say the Protectron's power core ran dry some 100 years ago. Fortunately, there was no usable information about the AI contained in memory, only that it'd be programmed to protect her with its life. It, not her. Entry 5. Intruders. I had to fight off a few outlanders who found their way in here. Soft targets, easy enough kills. Need to look into setting up a few turrets near the entrance so my work isn't interrupted further. It's been 7 days since I arrived, and I'm not much closer to understanding how exactly Agnes operates. Even stranger, though, it seems to slip in and out of awareness. 1 minute it's reciting 200-year-old news updates, the weather, which somehow seems to be current, or making conversation with me, and then suddenly it's as if a switch is flipped and it goes into a sort of low power / awareness state in which it's almost entirely unresponsive. This has happened several times while I've been at the operation terminal downstairs, and I can't see anything in the code itself that would explain the change. Maybe some kind of memory corruption, or else signal degradation, wherever that signal's coming from. 1 more day or so, and I'm calling the mission a loss. Can this thing be of any use to my people if it only works half the time, anyway? Entry 6. Nightmare. Last night I woke up gasping for air, then screaming. Not the first time, but so much worse than the others I've had like it. But then the station's emergency lights came on. They'd never done that before. And Agnes, it asked me if I was alright. There was depth in her voice, concern. There was like a victorious healer I once knew who distracted me with conversation while pulling a bullet from my shoulder. I don't know what brought it on, but I started sobbing like a child. Shivering, too. I tried to get some work done, but the station was so cold I could see my breath against the glow of the terminal, and my fingers were so numbed up I couldn't hit any of the keys I meant to. Then I felt the station started getting warmer, and I realized Agnes had activated the heating. Then she dimmed the lights and asked me if there was anything on my mind. I asked her why she cared, and she said it was only fair for her to better know the girl who'd been poking around her insides for the last 2 weeks. I told her I'd rather get back to sleep, and so she started playing a recording of ocean waves over the PA. As I laid back down, she called out to me and said it was nice to have a friend like me. Kind and proper young lady, all the warmth and comfort she was giving me. If only she knew why I was here and who and what I am, she'd have let me freeze. I deserve it. So as we can see, our anonymous author is a little bit down on herself and may not be as human as she sounds. Next entry, heading out. I have a lead, finally, on where her signal is coming from. It's weak, and I've got to get clear of the downtown area to start tracking it properly. Too many buildings in the way, but it's a start. I told Agnes I'd be gone for a few days. Stay safe, kid. I hope I'll see you again soon. It'll be good for me to get out of here for a while. I've never been stupid enough to get close to a mark, but in my defense I was sent here to retrieve a machine. A machine that no one told me could talk. I pray it doesn't know how to beg, too. I guess I'll find out in a few days. Time to go. Last entry, all wrong. I returned last night and heard Agnes crying over the speakers. It sounded like she was in pain. Why? Why would her programming even include the concept of pain, much less the ability to experience it? When I talked to her, she was clearly not at fully functioning capacity. What she asked me to do for her, she asked me to do to her. I can fix her. I know I can, and soon she'll know it too. So I'm staying here. The priests wouldn't dream of dragging themselves all the way here from Bellwether to bring me back. But he might. We'll deal with that if it comes to it. Still have time. Right now I have a friend to see. Right, that is all that is contained within this terminal. I read that all out because it's fairly important. There's a few very important plot bits there that I wanted you guys to hear for sure. Let's back out of this terminal here and see what happens.
We're gonna want to turn around very, very slowly.
Well, this must be Kit. Drop the gun. Now.
No chance. Here's what happens next. You keep your hands where I can see them, turn and face the exit, and then leave the way you came in. Nicely, slowly.
Not gonna happen, kid.
First warning's also the last. Start walking, or stop breathing.
Little pistol in your hand isn't gonna do a damn thing against this armor.
Well, hello there, darling, and welcome to Symphony Station.
Agnes, you're awake.
Well, of course I am. Agnes is a 24/7 type of gal, after all. Wherever are my manners? Can I offer either you an ice-cold soda while you wait for the train? Or perhaps a Boston Bugle hot off the presses? Or if you're feeling lost in our beautiful new subway station, just ask Agnes and I'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Okay, Agnes. Why don't I give our visitor a quick tour of the station myself?
Well, that would be just fine, young lady.
Come on. We'll start with the bathroom.
So as you can probably tell, Agnes is an AI. Now, the reason why Agnes doesn't bother me the way synths bother me is because no one was fucking murdered and replaced to create her.
Well, here we are.
Well, the circumstances of her creation aren't exactly her fault. You brought me in here to shoot me, didn't you?
No, look. 2 questions. First, who sent you here?
Who or what has you so afraid?
I'm not... Alright. If you were with the people I'm worried about, you'd have already tried to kill me. And you wouldn't be anywhere near this talkative.
Very
So,
true.
Second question. Did you do anything to Agnes before I found you? Did you touch anything? Mess with anything?
I looked at the terminal on the bench, but that's all.
Alright. Fine. I don't have time to care about that right now. The thing is, I need help. There's something wrong with Agnes. I've been trying to fix her for months.
As we gathered.
But I keep running into problems.
What will this actually involve?
I'll travel with you. Cover your back when we get into trouble. In return, you'll help me get what I need to make Agnes better.
You think you can actually fix it?
Her. And yes, I can.
Alright. What's wrong with her?
There are times when we talk to each other. She listens to me, tells me stories. But then, something happens to her. She forgets where she is, and even who she is.
Yeah, and as we gathered from the terminal entry.
Forgets me, like we never even met. After a while of being like that, she'll start to remember her original programming. Some kind of pre-war automated assistant, or something like that. I'm not really sure. When she fully comes back, she says she was in her dark place, and the last few weeks it's been taking longer and longer for her to come back.
Impressive that something like her
That's
has
why I wanted to know
lasted this long
if
anyway.
you'd touched or changed anything when you got here. Before now, she'd been gone for almost a week solid. If the usual pattern holds, she'll only want to tell you about the weather and things like that. For a while, anyway.
Alright, well, what about you? Who are you?
Well, the less you know about me, the better. I can say that I generally prefer the subtle, quiet approach to solving problems.
As do I.
But if you're a wreck and rage type, I can help you widen your blast radius too. All you really need to know is that I'm useful when and where it counts. Wouldn't have lived this long, or traveled this far if I wasn't.
That's fair. Alright, what's in it for me if I help you?
Well, I have no idea what Outlanders use for money. But when I first got to this station, I found and broke into an old safe, packed full of pre-war cash. And gumdrops, for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of traditional around here.
Hey, if I get killed, you can keep my boots and my sidearm. Otherwise, the cash is yours when we're done. Not the gumdrops, though, if you don't mind.
All yours. Alright, I'll give you a hand. Why not? I've got nothing better to do.
Alright, I have almost everything I need. That should get her back up and running. On one of her lucid days, she gave me a list of parts that we'll need. I've gotten all of them, except for 2.
So your terminal said.
There's a scrapyard west of here. That's the next place I was headed, so I figure we could start there. And hey, thanks.
Yeah, no problem, kid. Alright. So that is Kit, and we'll be seeing a lot of her for a while.
Hey,
I quite
Agnes,
like her.
I'm going to run out for a little bit.
The voice acting in this mod is very, very good.
Okay?
If this is your first time traveling to Boston, you'll be on mine and say hello to me, Agnes, over some...
Let's just get going.
Now, before we leave, I'd like to direct your attention to this here banner. Introducing Agnes, the helpful gal in a box. In cooperation with the MTA, we're pleased to announce this trial program of the fabulous new digital personal assistant from your friends at the Caritas Corporation. That's right. So just a tagline. Basically, think of Agnes as the Fallout version of an Amazon Alexa. I think that's kind of the joke they were going for. But this is a fairly serious mod. Now, she wants to head to the west. You get some components to try to fix Agnes up. It's a bit of a walk, so I'm probably going to skip the travel time and just cut back when we're where we need to be. I'm not exactly sure how far away it is, so let me just check my map real quick. Yeah, we're going to Jalbert Brothers Disposal, which is way to the northwest, actually close to where my airship is parked. I may just fast travel to Grey Garden, I don't know. I'll probably walk, because fuck it. Either way, I'll see you guys in a minute when we get there. Hey guys, we're back a little early. We're on our way to Jalbert Brothers Disposal, and I figured you might get a kick out of watching me take these guys out. Where is my rifle? Oh right, I fucking queued these up, didn't I? Yeah. Why I can't hit those guys. Sometimes I wonder if the sights on this particular rifle are entirely centered. Go back to the 5.56. Note that none of them actually know where I am. I'm still in caution. They're just shooting bullets randomly to try and catch me out. It's actually fairly amusing that they'll do that because they almost never succeed. Thankfully, Kit is quite good in stealth and usually won't get you caught. She's got a fairly unique system that I haven't really played much with. Apparently, the more you use her in combat, depending on how, she will actually improve at that type of combat. If you use her for stealth stuff like I am now, she'll get better at stealth over time. Where the fuck is that? Excuse me, Kit. Please don't. I like to use stealth when I'm with her because if she kills things, I won't get any experience for it. That's part of the reason why I almost never use companions. It's just a drain on the experience you get from combat. Makes things easier, but you get less reward. Boy, there's a lot of raiding down here. Yeah, we're not even out of Boston yet, to clarify. Yeah, it's a little rough getting in and out of the city. There is a ton of these guys. Only trouble is, doing this in third person makes it a little tough to see my muzzle clearance at times. I tend to shoot walls in front of me, because I'm not entirely certain where my gun is pointed.
Look, there isn't gonna be fun.
Kit, what are you doing? She broke cover because I missed so many times, which is mildly hilarious. I think I can futz about with her settings and just make it so that she doesn't really do that, but I'll deal with it later. The rest of these guys are up on buildings, so I'm just gonna sneak past.
Playing games with me, huh?
Did we level up during that? We did. Right, more strength. Increase our melee damage. Gun bashing, always good. Thermals, so I can actually see what I'm fucking doing. Yeah, and the rest of the trip there is most likely going to be a whole bunch of that. So again, see you guys at Jalbert's. Sit tight. Hey folks, we're approaching Jalbert Disposal now. So we're here looking for a specific part for Agnes, as you may well remember. Let's head inside and see what we can find. Take this slow and stealthy.
Alright. That looks like it should work. There's just one more thing we need to get. There's a radio station southeast of here. We need a vacuum tube, and I'm pretty sure one would be there.
Gotcha, so now she needs a vacuum tube as well. Unfortunately, my inventory is full as fuck, and I've offloaded a bunch of that to her. Try and lessen the load. Sorry.
Back to work. Ah, thanks.
Slapped her with a fucking knife by accident. Entirely sure why she charged that particular mole rat, but that's fine. I believe, yeah, that I forgot to clear out my inventory after last episode. There was a slight delay between this recording session and the last one, so I wouldn't be surprised. As long as we're traveling with Kit, I am going to compromise and fast travel just so that I can get up to the airship. Because if I'm unable to, well, it's going to be a rough time as far as inventory management goes. So, here is where I leave you guys. Next episode, we pick up where we left off. We head to that radio station she was just talking about, and we find the vacuum tube she needs. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. I will catch you guys next time. Stay safe, good hunting, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.